Hey guys, welcome to another project that is not the 918. Well, technically it is a Volkswagen, so it sort of is a 918, but then again totally not. So let's just move on and forget that I said that. Starting off, like any other project, I'm just going to clean up all the parts and remove the mold lines. With all the mold lines removed, all I needed to do was deepen the panel lines by just scribing them out with the back of my X-Acto knife. This just creates a gap and it pulls out a lot of material, deepening it a lot quicker than with the Panelline scriber I did a couple of months ago. And once it's scribed out and deep enough, I'm just going to widen it, and the only thing I do is just turn the blade 90 degrees so that it scrapes out wider. And of course, just like with any other time you scribe out the panel lines, you're gonna go over it a lot of times and you need to fix some mistakes from the shootouts, so just some filler in it, and then later on I will sand that down and give the whole body a light scuff and then move on to primer. With all my mistakes and the kit mistakes now fixed and removed, it was time for a couple of coats of primer. Now, just like most other builds, I'm going to use some gray primer from Zero Paints with my harder ash Steenbeck 2-in-1 Evolution with a 0.4mm needle and a pressure of 35 psi or 2.4 bar. Now, of course, I'm going to start with the hard to reach, easy to forget spots first, so that at least they have one coat when I'm going to forget them on the next two coats. In applying the first coat, I'm always careful to not go too thick, as the primer has the tendency to bite into the plastic when you go too quick and it could start cracking and moving. So I'm just going to get a bit further away than usual, pull the trigger all the way open and just let it flow out and move along quickly to not cover it all the way. I think this coverage is about 50% after the first coat, and the second coat will be a bit heavier, about 60 to 70% coverage. first coat, I let it dry for about 5 minutes in between and then moved on to the second coat. Like I explained earlier on, this will be pretty much the same as the first, but then a bit heavier, taking the coverage up to about 70% in one coat. After completing this second coat, I let it dry for about an hour before moving on to the first color coat. I did not sand the primer as it was smooth enough. I chose for a candy apple blue from Lamborghini, and I will be applying 2 coats. The first coat giving about 40% coverage, I let it dry for about 5 minutes and then moved on to a second coat, just as light, giving another 40% coverage, getting a total of 80%, and then I will add a third layer giving the final 40%, covering it completely plus an extra 20%. and again letting it dry for about 5 minutes and then moving on to the third and final coat, giving it that complete coverage and some extra just to be sure. And that's it for this one. In the next episode I will be covering the second and third color and maybe even some decals, but just mostly masking it off. In the meantime, check out thescalemodeler.com, my online web shop. Also, don't forget to give me a like on Facebook, and if you have any questions or suggestions, just shoot me an email or post a comment. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.